Good evening aspirants. Welcome to Daily News Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 4th June 2024. Displayed here are the list of topics that we are going to discuss today. Now let us get into the discussion. Look at this news article. It talks about a flagship governmental scheme called Smart Cities Mission. It tells us the government has extended the Smart Cities Mission under Urban Development Ministry till 2025. Note that under Smart Cities Mission, 100 cities were chosen through a competition and they will be developed as smart cities. So this is the crux of the article given here. In our analysis, let us see about the scheme in a brief. See, the Smart Cities Mission was launched by Honorable Prime Minister on 25 June 2015. The main objective is to promote cities that provide facilities like core infrastructure, clean and sustainable environment, and decent quality of life to the citizens. Note that this can be done through application of smart solutions. It plans to work in a comprehensive manner covering social, economic, physical and also the institutional pillars of the city. Lastly, it wants to create a model cities which act as lighthouses to other aspiring cities. Now let us see the salient features of the scheme. See, it is basically a centrally sponsored scheme with the central government giving financial support to the extent of 48,000 crores over 5 years, that is on average of rupees 100 crore per city per year. Note that an equal amount on matching basis is to be promoted by the state or urban local bodies. Moreover, additional resources are to be raised through convergence of various sources. The various sources can be urban local bodies' own funds or grants from Finance Commission or innovative finance mechanisms such as municipal bonds or other government programs and borrowings. Also note that the emphasis has been given on participation of private sector through private-public partnership model. Lastly, 100 cities have been selected to be developed as smart cities through a two-stage competition. Now let us be aware of the fact that there is no definition of smart city given by Government of India. It is based on 6 fundamental principles which are listed here, and have a look at it. Now let us see the working model of Smart Cities Mission. It works based on the 3 models. First is redevelopment. It is about renewing of existing urban areas to improve the infrastructure and amenities. For example, Bendi Bazaar in Mumbai. Next is retrofitting. It is about upgrading infrastructure in existing areas to make them more efficient and sustainable. For example, the local area development in Ahmedabad. The third one is Greenfield project. It is development of new urban areas with a focus on sustainability and smart technologies. For example, the new town in Kolkata and GIFT City. Before winding up, let us see the governance structure of Smart City Mission. A special purpose vehicle was created under Companies Act 2013 led by a bureaucrat or representative of multinational corporation to administer it. So this is all regarding the discussion. Now let us move to the next news article. Now look at this news article. Union government has reconstituted various important cabinet committees on Wednesday. The reconstituted committee will have ministers from various NDA partners like Bharatiya Janata Party, Janata Dal, Telugu Desam Party, Shiv Sena and Lok Janshakti Party. As always, most of the panels are headed by Prime Minister. So this is the crux of the news given here. In our discussion, let us see about cabinet committees from prelims exam perspective. First of all, the cabinet committee are institutional arrangements created to reduce the workload of cabinet. Note that these are extra constitutional bodies which are not mentioned in the constitution, but the rules of business deals with their establishment. Now we are going to see about the salient features of the committee. Firstly, the cabinet committee can be divided into 2 types based on their nature. One is standing committee and another type is ad hoc committee. Out of the 2, the standing committee is a permanent committee, whereas the ad hoc committee is a temporary one. The ad hoc committees are constituted from time to time to deal with special problems. They are disbanded after their task is completed. Now let us see who sets up the committee. They are set up by Prime Minister based on the requirements of the situation. Hence their number, nomenclature and composition will change from time to time. Usually their membership varies from 3 to 8. Also note that they usually include only cabinet ministers. However, the non-cabinet ministers are not debarred from their membership. Now let us see who heads the committee. They are mostly headed by Prime Minister. Sometimes other cabinet ministers like Home Minister or Finance Minister will be the chairman. But if the Prime Minister is a member of committee, he invariably presides over it. So please take a note of it. Now let us see the functions of the committee. The committee not only sort out issues and formulate proposals for the consideration of cabinet, but also take some policy decisions also. But note another important point, the cabinet can review their decisions. So this is all about the basic points about cabinet committees. Before winding the discussion, we are going to see about 4 important cabinet committees and their functions. The first one is Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs Committee. It deals with all policy matters related to domestic and foreign affairs of the country. The next one is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. It directs and coordinates the governmental activities in economic sphere. Thirdly, Appointments Committee. This committee decides all high-level appointments in the Central Secretariat, public enterprises, banks and financial institutions. Fourthly, Committee on Parliamentary Affairs. It looks after the progress of government business in the Parliament. Note that out of the 4 committees, the first 3 committees are chaired by Prime Minister and the last one by the Home Minister. Also, of all the cabinet committees, the most powerful one is Political Affairs Committee, which is often referred to as Super Cabinet. So this is all about this discussion regarding cabinet committees. Now let us move to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. India is set to host 46th session of UNESCO World Heritage Committee from July 21 to 31 in New Delhi. Here the World Heritage Committee comprises representatives from 21 countries. They were elected by General Assembly. This event will also be attended by over 2,500 delegates including diplomats, heritage experts, scholars and researchers from 195 countries. So this is the crux of the article given here. This is one of the important topics you can expect question every year. Even in 2024 prelims, there was a direct current affairs question on this topic. They asked which are all the sites which were recently added to World Heritage List. So this is an important topic, make a note of it. So in our discussion, let us learn few things about UNESCO World Heritage Sites and the recent inclusions from India. First of all, we know that UNESCO, which is an UN organization, and it has made many sites in India as World Heritage Sites. See, currently India has 42 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and these include 34 cultural sites, 7 natural sites and 2 mixed sites. Here the cultural sites include historical buildings and important archaeological sites. The natural sites are special natural areas that show Earth's history. They have rare and beautiful features or important habitats for endangered species. The third one is the mixed sites, which have both natural and cultural importance. So these are the 3 kinds of sites under World Heritage Sites. Now let us see what are the recent additions to this list. The first one is Shantiniketan. It is a town in Birbhum district of West Bengal and it was recently included in UNESCO World Heritage Site as India's 41st World Heritage Site. See, in 1862, Rabindranath Tagore's father, Devendranath Tagore, found this beautiful place and built an ashram called Shantiniketan. The word Shantiniketan means abode of peace. The area was originally called Buddhadanga but was renamed as Shantiniketan by Devendranath Tagore. In 1901, Rabindranath Tagore started a school here based on Brahmachari Ashram model. The school later became Vishwa Bharati University. The Ministry of Culture proposed Shantiniketan for UNESCO World Heritage List due to its significance in human values, architecture, arts and town planning. So this is all about Shantiniketan. Now let us see one more latest addition, that is Hoysala temples. It became the 42nd UNESCO World Heritage Site from India. Now where it is located? See, these temples are located in Belur, Halibeidu, Somanathapura of Karnataka. They were built during 12th and 13th centuries. They showcase unique architectural and artistic brilliance. Now let us talk about these temples individually. First is Chennakeshava temple in Belur. It was built by Vishnuvardhana in 1116 AD. It celebrates his victory over Cholas. This is a star-shaped temple and it is dedicated to Lord Vishnu and sits on Yagachi river. The second one is Hoysaleshwara temple, which is located in Halibeidu. It is the largest Shiva temple built by Hoysalas. The third one is Keshava temple of Somanathapura. So all these temples belong to Hoysala architecture and they are known for their distinctive blend of styles from Central India, Northern India and also from Western India. These temples are designed with multiple shrines around Central Hall and feature intricate carvings made from soapstone. Apart from this, Karnataka has 2 other UNESCO sites. They were Hampi and Pattadakal. So this way you can cover the static portion along with the current affairs. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. It talks about the Zika virus which is reported from parts of Maharashtra. So the Union Health Ministry has issued an advisory to all states highlighting the need for maintaining a constant vigilance on spread of Zika virus. In this backdrop, let us revise about the basics of Zika virus for our prelims exam. Zika virus is a mosquito-borne flavivirus, meaning it is primarily transmitted by the bite of infected mosquito and the main genus of mosquito is Aedes aegypti. These Aedes mosquito usually bite during the day, peaking during early morning and late afternoon or evening. Remember, this is the same mosquito that transmits dengue, chikungunya and yellow fever. It was first identified in Uganda in 1947 in monkeys. It was later identified in humans in 1952 in Uganda and Tanzania. If you see, Zika virus is also transmitted from mother to fetus during pregnancy or through sexual contact or transfusion of blood and blood products or even through organ transplantation. So this means that it can quickly spread and turns out to be new epidemic and then a pandemic. So this is the reason why it becomes very important to monitor and control this disease. Now let us look into the signs and symptoms of Zika virus. See, the incubation of Zika virus is estimated to be 3 to 14 days in humans. If you see, the majority of people infected with the Zika virus do not develop any symptoms. And if they develop symptoms, it generally looks like a mild fever, a rash or muscle and joint pain. Now let us talk about the complications of Zika virus. Zika virus infection of mother during pregnancy is a cause of microcephaly. This is a newborn which has small head and what is considered as normal. Other congenital abnormalities also happen in the developing of fetus and newborn babies. Besides this, Zika virus infection can also trigger Guillain-Barré syndrome, a syndrome that usually affects the nervous system, and these particularly in adults and older children. See, there is no treatment available for Zika virus infection or its associated diseases. The symptoms of Zika virus infection are usually mild. People with symptoms such as fever, rash should get plenty of rest and drink fluids. Besides this, pregnant women living in areas with the Zika transmission or who develop symptoms of Zika virus infection should seek medical attention for laboratory testing and other clinical care. So this is all about Zika virus. Now let us move to the next news article discussion. Look at this article. The army on Wednesday clarified that the family of Agniveer, who was killed in landmine blast, would receive a compensation of approximately 1.65 crore. So this is about the news given here. In our discussion, we are going to revise about Agnipath scheme for our prelims exam. First, let us start with the basics of Agnipath scheme. Agnipath scheme is a tour of duty style scheme approved by Government of India for the recruitment of soldiers below the rank of commissioned officers. This is applicable for recruitment into 3 services of armed forces. All the recruits will be hired only for a period of 4 years. Note that the personnel recruited under the system are called as Agniveers. So this is a new military rank which is called Agniveers. Now let us see the eligibility criteria for the scheme. The scheme is open to young individuals aged between 17.5 and 21 years. The girls under the given age limit are open for the scheme, but there is no reservation for the women under this scheme. The recruitment process is a transparent and merit-based involving physical test, medical examinations and written exams. Lastly, note that the recruitment will be done twice a year through rallies. Now let us see how Agnipath is different from regular military service. Unlike soldiers in regular service, Agniveers do not draw pensions post-retirement. Moreover, only 25% of Agniveers who are absorbed into the forces after 4 years will receive the pension benefits. After completing the 4-year tenure, they will have the option to exit the generous financial package including Seva Nidhi package, which is a lump sum amount accumulated through their service period. On continuing the discussion, let us discuss about other benefits of Agniveers. If they die on duty, their family receives 1 crore and full pay for the period for which the soldier could not serve. In case of disability, an Agniveer receive up to 44 lakh as compensation depending on the percentage of disability suffered. So this is about Agniveer and Agnipath scheme. For this, let us wind up the discussion and move to the next topic. Look at this article. In a tragic incident, a stampede in Hathras resulted in 121 deaths. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ordered a judicial probe under retired High Court judge and suggested the possibility of conspiracy. So in this backdrop, let us discuss a mains question using our usual mains answer writing approach. This topic comes under GS paper 3 and it is very important topic under disaster management. Let me read out the question for you. Discuss the various factors which trigger a stampede. Also suggest measures to prevent it. See, this is a straightforward question. In the first part of the question, you can give different situations where a stampede can occur. And in the second part, you can suggest the measures to prevent it. So this is how we are going to address this particular question. Now moving on to the introduction part. Stampede is a rushing of crowd into a small area which cannot hold that much crowd. This happens in religious gatherings, concerts, sport events and public celebrations. They often occur in a response to perceived danger, loss of physical space or desire to attain something gratifying. So these are the factors that trigger a stampede. In this way, we can connect the introduction part to the main body of the answer. In the body part of the answer, let us see the various factors that trigger a stampede. The first important thing is overcrowding. The primary cause of stampedes is the presence of more people than the venue can safely accommodate. Overcrowding can lead to panic and chaos, especially in confined spaces. The next one is panic and fear. Sudden triggers such as false alarm about a fire or terrorist attack or other perceived threats can induce panic, which leads to people rushing towards the exit. So this can trigger a stampede. The third one is poor crowd management. Inefficient crowd control measures and the lack of trained personnel and inadequate planning can cause the risk of stampedes. The next important thing is structural failures. Inadequate infrastructure such as narrow exit, insufficient barriers and poorly designed pathways can lead to stampedes. Also, one of the causes for stampedes is a lack of communication. In emergencies, the absence of clear communication and instructions can lead to confusion and disorganized movements. Slow or inefficient response by the emergency services can worsen the situation, increasing casualties and injuries. So this is about the first part of the body of the answer. Now let us see the second part. Here we are going to explain the preventive measures that can be taken to avoid stampedes. The first one is capacity regulation. There should be strict enforcement of venue capacity limits, which is essential for preventing stampedes. The next one is advanced planning and risk assessment. Organizers should conduct thorough risk assessments and create detailed crowd management plans. So this involves identifying potential hazards and developing evacuation procedures. The third one is infrastructure improvement. Ensuring venues have adequate infrastructure to handle large crowd is vital for preventing stampedes. The next one is training and deployment of personnel. The training staff and volunteers in crowd management and emergency response is crucial while it comes to public gatherings or religious gatherings or sport events. The next one is real-time monitoring and technology. Public awareness and communication is also important for preventing stampedes. There should be emergency response planning. So coordination with the local emergency services such as police, fire departments and medical teams is essential. So these are some of the preventive measures that can be taken to avoid stampedes. Now coming to the conclusion, preventing stampedes require a multifaceted approach involving regulatory enforcement, infrastructure improvements and strategic planning. By addressing the root causes and implementing effective preventive measures, it is possible to significantly reduce such tragic incidents. So in this discussion, we have seen what are the causes for stampedes and what are the measures to prevent stampedes. So with this, let us conclude the discussion and move to the next topic. Now look at this news article. It talks about North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is shortly called as NATO. In this discussion, we are going to see the background of NATO and the basics about NATO. NATO is a political and military alliance established on April 4, 1949. It was created to provide collective security against the threat posed by Soviet Union after World War II. The organization is based on the principle of collective defense as stated in the Treaty of NATO. Now let us see who are the founding members of NATO. The original members of NATO were Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Italy, Iceland, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom and United States. So these are the founding members of NATO. NATO has expanded over the years to include 31 member countries. The new members are admitted through a process of meeting political, economic and military criteria. The NATO structure includes North Atlantic Council, which is the main decision-making body. It also has a Secretary General, who is Chief Administrative Officer, and a military committee which provides military advice to North Atlantic Council. So basically, North Atlantic Council is a central part of NATO. After the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991, many Eastern European countries joined NATO. For example, Albania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, Romania, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia all joined NATO after the collapse of Soviet Union. Followed by Russian invasion, Ukraine, Sweden and Finland also applied for membership in NATO. And in 2023, Finland joined NATO, and in 2024, Sweden also joined the NATO. So these are the latest countries that have joined NATO. So this is about NATO. Now let us move to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. It is going to be about the formation of galaxies and the recent outcome of a research published in Astrophysical Journal Letters that has questioned the previous belief on the period of formation of galaxy. It has even stated that many spiral galaxies must have formed 4 billion years sooner than we thought. See aspirants, these factual science-based topics like basic understanding of universe, galaxies, or even understanding the difference between meteor, meteorite, asteroid and comets are prime importance for acing the marks in prelims. because UPSC generally uses scientific terms and definition in their statements. So in this aspect, covering this article holistically is very important. So let's get into the discussion. Let us start with a brief about what is given in this news article. The formation and evolution of galaxies have been re-evaluated with the new insights from James Webb Telescope. Traditionally, it was believed that the galaxies form clumps of matter in a cooling universe evolving from irregular shapes to spiral forms over billions of years. However, recent observations suggest that this cooling and spiral formation occurred simultaneously. So by studying 873 early galaxies, researchers identified 216 spirals, revealing a higher fraction of spiral galaxies than previously thought. So this is about the important points given in the news article. Let us see some associated facts and terminologies which comes handy for both prelims and mains. Firstly, James Webb Telescope. There was a mains question in GS paper 3 that has come directly from this topic in 2022. The James Webb Space Telescope, built by NASA with contributions from ESA and CSA, in an advanced space telescope launched in 2021. It is positioned at second Lagrange point, that is 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. The objective is to observe galaxies, stars and planets in greater detail than its predecessor, that is the Hubble Space Telescope. Its infrared capability makes it the most important telescope in the observable universe. Now moving forward, let us see about the black holes. Here also note that the question on black hole formation is a favorite area for UPSC. A question about black holes was asked in Prelims 2019. So what are black holes? See, they are regions in space with extremely strong gravity where nothing, not even light, can escape. They form from the remnants of massive stars that collapse under their own gravity after a supernova explosion. The first image of black hole was observed in 2019 by Event Horizon Telescope. The black holes can produce gravitational waves which are detected by observatories like LIGO and Virgo. Now let us see some frequently repeated scientific terms in news. Firstly, neutron stars. A neutron star is an incredibly dense and compact object formed from the remnants of massive star after it explodes into supernova. It is made almost entirely of neutrons and has a small radius, but the mass is greater than Sun. The neutron stars have extremely strong gravitational and magnetic fields and can spin rapidly, emitting beams of radiation as pulsars. Secondly, neutrinos. See, there is a clear distinction between neutron star and neutrinos. Neutrinos are tiny and nearly massless particles that travel at almost the speed of light. They are produced in large quantities during nuclear reactions such as those happen in Sun, supernova and nuclear reactors. Even on Earth, they are produced by particle accelerators and nuclear power plants. Neutrinos rarely interact with matter, making them difficult to detect. On a similar note, let us see the India's Neutrino Observatory program. The project is proposed to be set up at a village in Theni district in Tamil Nadu. The objective of the project was to study the neutrinos in a deep cave. The proposed site in Theni district was identified because of a rock burden of over 1 kilometer in all directions that shield the detector from other cosmic waves. Since neutrinos can easily pass through anything, they will reach the detector while other particles will be filtered out by the rock in the mountain. So this location is favorable for detecting and studying neutrinos. Now moving ahead, let us see the difference between asteroid, comets, meteor and meteorites. Firstly about asteroids. See, they are small rocky objects orbiting the Sun, primarily found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. They vary in size from tiny pebbles to about 1000 kilometers in diameter. For example, one of the largest asteroids is Ceres. Now let us see about the comets. They are the icy bodies that orbit the Sun and known for glowing comas and tails that develop when they approach the Sun. They originate from the Kuiper belt and Oort cloud, which is present beyond Neptune. The famous example for comet is Halley's Comet. Now let us see the difference between meteors and meteorites. The streak of light seen in the sky when a meteoroid enters Earth's atmosphere and burns up due to friction. These are also known as shooting stars. When a small piece of meteor falls into the Earth, they are called meteorites. Now what is the difference between meteoroid and meteorite? Meteorites that survive their passage through Earth's atmosphere and land on Earth's surface is called meteorite. For example, the Hoba meteorite in Namibia. So aspirants, in this article, we have covered briefly on various relevant scientific terms and technologies in place. Now we have come to the prelims practice question discussion. Now look at the first question. 3 statements are given. Cabinet committee are mentioned in the Constitution of India. Cabinet committee are only permanent in nature. Cabinet committee on political affairs deals with economic political issues with internal or external security implications. So which of the above statements are correct? See, the statement 1 is wrong. They are not mentioned in Constitution and it is only given in the rules of business. So obviously the statement 1 is wrong. Now look at the second statement. It is also wrong. There are both permanent and ad hoc committees. Now look at the third statement. The Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs deals with center-state relations. So this statement is also wrong. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Now look at the second question. With reference to Smart Cities Mission, consider the following statements. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. There is no standard definition or template for smart city. So which of the given statements are correct? The correct answer is option C, because both of the statements are correct as we have discussed in the news article discussion. Now look at the third question. With reference to Agnipath scheme, consider the following statements. Enrollment to all 3 services will be through a centralized online system with special rallies and campus interviews at recognized technical institutes. It will be carried out on all India all class basis with eligibility age ranging from 17.5 to 21 years with the medical and physical fitness standards in accordance with existing norms. So which of the statements are correct? The correct answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Both of these statements are correct. So with this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you.